Right now on Up with KREM, the man accused of shooting and killing 10 people at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado is expected in court today.
Plus, after recent backlash, AstraZeneca is dialing it back. The data that now shows a dip in effectiveness against COVID-19.
And while the sun is trying to come up, the clouds will stick around for most of the day today, but I'm forecasting when we'll see a lot more sunshine before the weekend.
Up with KREM begins now.
Hey, welcome to Up with KREM. Thanks for joining us this morning. The topic of equal pay is making headlines once again, and at the front of the debate is two-time world soccer champion Megan Rapinoe.
Yeah, and Dana Marie McNichol joins us now. Dana Marie, why is Rapinoe trending online this morning?
Well, Rapinoe is taking the fight for fair pay to the White House. Yesterday was Equal Pay Day, and she served as a witness for a hearing on equal pay. Now, inequities and also inequities of women of color that face, so they said, and several other pieces of feminine legislation. So coming up in just a couple minutes, we're going to be taking a look at that speech and also everyone that's talking about this online this morning.
All right, Dana Marie, thanks so much. Let's take a live look outside now of downtown Spokane. Not a bad morning compared to yesterday. It was kind of a yucky day is how Thomas has been describing it. Thomas, can we expect more of the same, or is it going to start to improve?
It's going to improve, but just a little bit for today. I mean, you look outside and you say, okay, it's kind of cloudy, it's kind of gray, it feels a little doom and gloom. But yeah, you compare that to yesterday and even that seems a lot better. As long as it's dry out for today, I think most people will be just fine with that. Keeping an eye on the low cloud cover and some fog. It's not terribly bad across the inland northwest. Some slight reductions in visibility near Spokane, but as long as it's above at least 1 mile, we're doing all right. It looks like Lookout Pass is seeing some light fog, low cloud cover at the moment. I've certainly seen that camera a lot foggier in some previous days over the winter, but this is not looking terrible across Lookout Pass. Nonetheless, keep your wits about you as you travel about the inland northwest for today. A couple light showers across southeastern Washington near the Lewiston area. This is all very light stuff, so it almost seems like the clouds are barely spitting out any kind of precipitation. Nonetheless, it is light. It is moving south. It's moving away from Spokane at the moment. Temperatures above freezing, looks like, as I'm scanning, just about everywhere. Got 32 at Sandpoint. That appears to be the cool spot along with St. Mary's, but everybody above the freezing mark at the moment. And with maybe a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, we should get up to around 50 degrees. Look for a dry day, save for maybe 1 or 2 pop-up showers. Nothing terribly intense for this afternoon. And the weather continues to improve for the rest of this week. And certainly for this weekend, I'll have more 60s in the forecast before you know it. So look for that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much. Let's get right to breaking news now. New unemployment numbers show jobless claims have the lowest rate since the pandemic began last year. According to a report from the Labor Department, 684,000 Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week. This is the first time that weekly applications for jobless claims have fallen below 700,000 since mid-March of 2020. Before the pandemic tore through the economy, applications had never topped that level.
Here at 6:33 this morning, the suspect accused of killing 10 people at a Colorado grocery store is expected to make their first appearance in court today. Investigators continue to search for a motive in the shooting. CBS News has learned that the suspect's mental health is being looked at as a potentially significant factor in the rampage.
Well, there are a lot of COVID-19 vaccine headlines this morning, so let's break down 3 things you should know today. Up first, AstraZeneca now insists that its COVID-19 vaccine is strongly effective even after counting additional illnesses in its disputed U.S. study. In a late-night press release, AstraZeneca said it had recalculated data from that study and concluded the vaccine is 76% effective in preventing symptomatic COVID-19 instead of the 79% it had claimed earlier in the week. Number 2, people are eager to get the vaccine, but Washington health officials say everyone needs to wait their turn. They say people have been showing up at sites hoping to get the vaccine even though they don't have an appointment.
The biggest issue is site safety. So people who are here working and volunteering on the site, it's a safety issue for them. It's a safety issue for our people who have appointments in our standby lists, and it's a safety issue for the folks who are coming here without an appointment. Having that extra group show up does sometimes present a safety issue for us because we now have to manage this extra group of people.
As for those who are not yet eligible, officials assure them that their turn is coming and more vaccines are on their way. Number 3, 12 state attorneys generals are urging social media platforms to enforce stricter policies against COVID vaccine misinformation. The group says a recent report finds anti-vaccine accounts on social media platforms, including Instagram and YouTube, have more than 59 million followers. Officials say if big tech companies don't act now, the pandemic will be prolonged. For their part, Facebook and Twitter says they're constantly enforcing measures to combat anti-vaccine information.
Well, the pandemic has led to a lot of children getting a lot more screen time for online learning. So is reading from a screen better or worse than reading from a page? Let's connect the dots.
With so many kids in virtual learning, parents may be concerned whether reading on a screen is just as good as reading a real book. Let's connect the dots. According to a professor of linguistics at American University, the format children read in can make a difference in how they absorb the information. One issue is mindset. Since most of us use screens for fun and socializing, we bring the same approach to whatever we read on a screen. So when it's time to really absorb new information, we may not be paying the right kind of attention if it's on a screen. It can also mean we read on screens too quickly. So what does the professor recommend? For the youngest readers, stick to old-fashioned books. This makes it easier for parents and kids to interact with the words on the page, allowing kids to go at their own pace and ask questions. While there are apps and ebooks for new readers, they often include too many distractions. For school-age kids, it's a lot harder to avoid screens, but the experts say it's a good time to talk to kids about the differences between screens and printed material. That can help them start to figure out what helps them learn and keep the conversation going. As kids get older, they get better about picking up skills to stay focused, which can be a challenge no matter the medium.
Coming up, despite a cloudy morning, temperatures should hit around 50 degrees today, but more sunshine will lead to some warmer temperatures for the upcoming weekend.
It's an exciting time to be a Zag and a Zag fan. They take on Creighton in the Sweet 16. Tip-off is on Sunday at 11:10 a.m. right here on KREM 2. This is the Zags' 6th straight season they've made it to the Sweet 16. And again, you can watch that game live only on KREM 2.